Hey, welcome back to Actual Play, Traveler Moons on Leviathan. Alexi's day just keeps on turning up, right? Went from exile to mutiny, captive to pirate, conspirator, maybe? We'll see. Yeah, I think Alexi kind of takes a moment, tries to contemplate what wisdom Sir Pens would have given him at this moment.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, that he was there to I had my digital ancestor before, but he's not around now. Um, and yeah, I think the important thing is that his crew, his family, the people who fought with him are understand the choice. So I think before he tells Klaus, I wanna gather them together and tell them what we're gonna do
Yeah.
and see if I have their um, uh, see if I still have their confidence. If they're because I can imagine somebody protesting that's attacking our home would be pirates, etc. It's all reasonable suggestions. Yeah, I think I gather them and tell them the situation with Nestor and Persia, their plans, and what Klaus has proposed that we can do to stop them, and kind of wanting to read for what they.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to let the dice decide how many of them go. Like I think you're persuading them, right? You're trying to get them to
Yeah, I think manipulator charm makes sense if that
yeah.
sounds right to you.
Yeah,
Become the
I
role
think
leader
yeah,
and
charm at the very least, but yeah.
yeah. Oh my goodness. The dice do not like me in this game. I
They do
obviously
not.
I forgot to turn on the roll 20 cheat codes.
You did.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Goodness gracious. Um Sir, that's you want us to go rogue? You want us to turn pirate?
I don't like it either. I don't have any way to sugarcoat this. I don't have any way to make it sound more noble than it is. We have a choice of hurting our home to keep an usurper from taking it, or letting that usurper do to our families what they tried to do to us. It's ugly. There's not a good option here. I don't think what we're doing is. I have no aspirations that our digital ancestors would call this honorable, but I don't know any other choice we have. I don't want the same thing to happen to my brother that almost happened to all of us. And
Hmm.
I think they all have family there too. I mean, I think it's
Right.
not unreasonable to say like they were exiled, but their families weren't. So I say, we all have people we care about. If I had a better way of doing it, I would do that. The other option is that we rot while is that we hang around while they try to ransom us. Maybe our ransom gets paid, but by the time that's happened, I guarantee you Nestor will have seized Ithaca.
Nice. Um Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look to the move for some guidance here,
Yeah,
because I feel like when we went to the dice and it
yeah.
told us something, but I kind of want to see exactly what it told us.
Unfortunately, with charm or deceive, well, actually, let me. This. the other the other move we might have said this was read someone and figure out
Okay.
whether or not they were up for it. I say
Okay.
that in part because a, it makes sense within fiction, but also b, it does give you a little more direction on a miss than charm, which just is like make your move.
Right.
So
Right. Right. Uh, what is the direction it gives you?
it says on a miss, the MC may have you ask one question anyway, but be prepared for the worst.
Yeah.
So essentially, I could still ask a question of them, but it doesn't necessarily.
Yeah. I'll let you ask a question. I think that's cool.
Cool. Well, here's the $1 million question. Actually, I was thinking about asking how could I get you to go along with me, but I
Right.
think the more interesting question right now is what do you hope I'll do? What is it they want me to do?
Yeah. They I think they want the impossible, right? They want you to show them an honorable path and lead them on it.
Hmm.
And the real problem is that it's not there.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist. So yeah, I mean, I think what they want is a unicorn. They want a fairy tale,
yeah,
and you don't have a fairy tale to tell them.
no,
Uh, and they're not dealing with that yet.
yeah. I think it sounds to me like I'm not going to get their support, at least not yet now,
Right.
and that it's the unless they escalate it. I mean, if somebody like gets in my face and wants to throw hands or something like that because they feel like what I'm doing is so wrong, I don't think Alexandros is going to push it. What I'm just going to say is we've served together, but you don't serve me right now. We were all exiled together, and I would love to have you at my side. But if you can't stand by my actions, I understand. I don't think I'm going to be the same person I was at the end of this. And I don't
Mm.
know if I'm going to like the person I find
Oof.
there.
Shit. Huh. That's awesome.
But yeah, so I basically set them free. I'm like, you guys do whatever you need to do.
Yeah. Yeah. That's fucking amazing. Cool.
Yeah.
Um.
Uh,
Yeah, and I feel like the next bit, uh, the next bit is, um, we see Alexei in his full void armor, and standing next to him is Klaus in some pieces of his old armor, but largely uh, stuff scavenged from the lockers of the storm surge.
hmm.
And you're working with this small 6-person team. You're on the hull of some little shitty barge ship that they use for training. And I mean, the way they're standing is wrong. That they're not in line. They're just making like so many mistakes that uh, a squire wouldn't make.
Yeah.
From your old outfits,
I've,
that
I've
it's hard to look at them, right? It's like they're
I've
yeah,
had this experience, doing IT support for 20 years, is that generally I really don't mind if someone doesn't know how to do something, but there's a
right,
certain amount of franticness when somebody is really out of their depths and they're just like clicking everything and doing anything wrong. And I'm like, just please slow down. Like I will happily tell you step by step by step, but if you just
right.
like keep like, what's that? Oh, click. Oh, I don't get it. And I just have it like takes an incredible amount of patience. And I think that's the feeling that Lexi's having right now. She's like, everybody stop, start over slower. We'll build up we'll build up speed once we've got the basics down. You're going too fast.
Yeah.
And your mistakes are compiling upon themselves,
Yeah.
and it's really like you got to learn to walk before you can run. You all are trying to tear this hull apart, and you don't even know that you're not even getting good seals.
Yeah.
If you tear this hull apart right now, you're going to go flying off right with it. You need
Yeah.
to make sure that all this, there's I mean, he's definitely done this part before. This is Alexis Bailiwick, and
Yep. Yep.
I think Judd. I don't know if you wrote him up, but I think you had in mind a training move when you spend a long time working on something,
Yeah.
and that is the way to advance stats. And I think that's the way to advance stats: is spending significant time training things.
Yeah.
Um, and in this case, I don't know if I'm training them or that counts for me as well. But yeah, I think we're doing the training move if
Yeah.
such,
And I,
if
and,
such a move
and
exists.
yeah, yeah, there totally is. And let me allow me to find it.
Nice.
Um, yeah, there absolutely was a move, and I think you're absolutely training them. And I think you're also becoming a trainer.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, Moadib learned rapidly because his first training was in how to learn, and the first lesson of all was the basic trust that he could learn. And it's shocking to find how many people do not believe they can learn, and how many more believe learning to be difficult. Frank Herbert Dune. When your character wants to train, either gaining new expertise or improving an established skill, talk to the referee about the people who will offer such training. Then the referee will tell you 1 to 4 of the following. It's going to take X weeks, months, years of consistent training. First, you'll have to hire a tutor through in-game fiction. You will need X to help you with it. It's going to cost dearly. There's ancient text said to condition the brain in this manner. You're already the best in the subsector. You'll have to venture deep into the void or take on a massive undertaking in order to improve. It is illegal to train the brain in such a matter. You will be risking imprisonment, excommunication, or worse. Those who safeguard these training methods are rigid in their orthodoxy and will guard them dearly, but there are always rebels and heretics on the fringe. Once your training is complete, you can add the skill to your sheet or increase the skill you already have. The referee will tell you what you need to do in order to keep the skill sharp so that this expertise does not become covered in rust and decay. And
I love that move. Yeah. I think I'm
yeah,
training leadership. I mean, that's I think the thing. Unless you want me to train instruction, which would be
oh,
another
that's
thing
interesting.
too.
Yeah, I don't know. I could see it being leadership. I could see it being instruction. I think it's up to you. If you want to, you know, work on something that you already have, or do you want something new?
Yeah, I think leadership makes the most sense because that is the thing that I'm practicing now, so that when next time I actually try to tell them how to take a hull, that's
Right.
what I'm going to be rolling. When I do this
Cool.
with them, that's what I'll be doing.
Cool. So here's the next moment. Months into this
Yeah.
is you're having a meal with Klaus and his family, and I think he's got 6 kids, and his wife is a captain of another ship, another pirate ship, and he says, "I was watching the training holograms today, and you said something. It occurred to me you're not training these men to go off and take the hull of a ship on their own. You're training these men to go take the hull of a ship under your leadership."
Alexi, I paused for a moment, thinking about that. I'm like, I don't know any other way to train them.
We will need to hide some of the finer elements of your armor.
And I feel like my armor's probably already gotten kind of scuffed up.
Right.
And I think maybe if a piece is broken or whatnot, there's already like one or two spots where it's been repaired with,
Yeah.
from all this training we've been doing. There's wear and tear. It doesn't look like theirs, but it doesn't look as pristine as it used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say, I think I don't know, for whatever reason the armor is hanging up, in a rack, in
Nearby.
the
Yeah.
back. Yeah, and I think we still see on the shoulder, even though it's maybe scraped and scuffed, there is still the symbol of our house. And I say, yeah, I'm going to need a grinder to take that off. Um, and I agree. We should probably mix up the suits a little bit more. Your ventilators aren't equipped for our redundant systems, but I'm sure they can be adapted. And
Yeah.
how old are his kids? Are they kind of range in
Yeah, I think they range from like 6 to 15.
right?
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna like look to the I don't know, look to the 6 year old just because that's a and ask and say, are you gonna do you want to grow up to be uh, I assume they all like they're not like hiding what they do. These people don't have
Yeah.
cover identities, yeah. And so I looked at the 6 year old. I'm like, do you want to grow up to be a space pirate like your parents?
Uh she smiles mischievously and says that she wants to be an architect. And her dad's like, like scoffs in like a way that like is like, I really kind of like that, and says, every family has a rebel.
Even among rebels, uh, what do you want to build? Do you want to build great space stations? You
She
want to build
nods.
small things?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. She nods. Space stations. Yeah.
And there's sort of a dark look on Alexi's eyes. He's not going to convey it to her, but we know, looking into his head, that he's concerned the Ithaca station may need to be rebuilt because people are just going to let it crash right into orbit.
Right.
Um, but that's not something you share with a 6 year old.
Right.
And I say, when do you think? Have you heard word from? And I assume sometime in this process. Well, nah, I don't think. I don't think. I was going to say I've communicated with my brother, but I don't think there's an opportunity to. So I just ask. I ask, have you heard word from Ithaca Station of how the trials are going?
Your family is due to be taken from power while the trial goes on any day now, which means that we're going to need to get to work soon.
Um, what's my assessment? How Judd? How are the
Yeah.
pirates looking?
Yeah. Definitely read a sitch. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I want to read a sitch with brawling rather than leadership in this case, because
Oh, interesting. Okay.
that is the skill that I have decided is appropriate to puncturing these holes. Do you feel like that's right? I mean,
I
because
love
it's
it.
all
Love it.
done with like saws. It's not
Yep. Yep.
blaster
I
or anything
love
like
it.
that. Yeah. All right. This is how good are they at? There we go. I'll take that.
Nice. Ooh, very nice.
All right. So
Ask a question.
okay, I get three questions. All right, I think the sitch is: are they ready to go do this work? Does that sound right? That's because things are like, who's in control? What's my best way in and out?
Right. Right.
This is the I think this is the Klaus and I like planning the actual assault. Does that feel right to you? Because
Yeah.
there isn't a question of like, are these people prepared? That's not a so yeah. What poses the biggest threat to us?
Um. That's a great question.
And for context, I think I've got the map of the docks, and I'm like, this is where Calchas's family like works. You know, this is their domain. And from talking to him, this is what I know. And I'm kind of updating, not
Yeah,
updating, like giving some context to their hollow maps that are, otherwise, you know, probably I don't know if they're current or not, but they don't have that kind of personal touch, I think.
right. And I think the way that they are planning to take the ship is to take the barges is to take them when they're like leave the station or they're on their way back from the station. So they've got it down to this point where it's like if we take the ship right here, it's 30 minutes until the nearest patrol boat can get to them, and that's how long we have to get in, take everything that's worthwhile, and get out. And so, what is the greatest danger? I think is here's the greatest danger. The greatest danger is the first couple of maneuvers, because right now, when you go into space, you do so with veterans, and you do so under the aegis of a certain amount of mystique, because you do it under the banner of a well established fighting corps. And these pirates have mystique on the other side, like, oh my goodness, we're getting overrun by pirates. But they don't necessarily, but like, you've seen them, you've seen the men and women in these suits, and that they know that they're undertrained,
Yeah,
and that they're catching up, but they don't have the generations of mystique that your family and that the knights have.
yeah,
And if the first battles go wrong, they're going to blame you, and they're going to blame the right way to do this.
yeah,
And it could lead to them going back to like old, really lazy, really dangerous ways of doing things that will get people killed. And yeah, I think the big danger is those first couple of jobs.
yep, yeah. I say, I tell Klaus, I say, your people don't have, and it's still your, right? Like it
Yeah,
hasn't been
yeah,
our, it's not our yet.
yeah. Love it, love it.
I say your people don't have the confidence they need to do this job successfully. They are still unsure that these methods work because they haven't done them, and there's no way to know for sure without doing it. We really need to pick our very first target very carefully. We need to have everything set up to give them the best chance of success, because if they don't, I've seen soldiers break, and um, in space people break in really stupid ways, really irresponsible ways. It
Yeah,
is scary to realize that everything around you on all sides is inimical to your life. I'm sure you know this, but it's even scarier when there's blaster bolts firing and people make really really dumb mistakes, and we've got to get them, you know, as you said, I mirror back to him that we've got to get them
yeah.
a few notches in their belt so that they trust in their training.
Cool.
Um, and I think I have two more questions to ask, but I
Yeah,
don't know. But if it sounds cool to you, Judd, I think we can like cut to the first engagement, the first
yeah,
attempt, and I'll ask these as we're either as flashbacks to us planning or as we're assessing the situation. Does that sound
yeah,
cool to you?
yeah. That sounds great. And I think all of you are huddled at the airlock door, and they've got um, the hands on each other's shoulders as you've taught them to, and you hear Klaus say, we're making, and I think you even trained him, and he said, to tell you certain things that he didn't tell boarding crews before.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, we've got a barge. Um, it's stock full of passengers and cargo. Uh, as soon as you can get us the cargo doors so that we can get the loaders working, the better. Uh, contact is in 30 seconds. And then I think like in the lower right of your helm is like a countdown timer
Nice.
that starts counting down. Um, and yeah, you feel someone kind of tapping on someone else's shoulder nervously, and like the vibration just runs along all of your
The whole
arms.
circuit, the whole chain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And someone's like tapping their finger and doesn't realize they're doing it.
Yeah. I think because we each have like one hand on the shoulder of
Yeah, yeah.
of the person. And I think I reach over and I just put my hand on theirs to like flatten their hand. And
Yep,
like,
yep.
it's like, it's going to be all right.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I got you. And I
Yeah.
just sort of flat it down and I
Cool.
say, we know how to do this. Um, we're ready for this. And yeah, Judd, as we're grappling on and docking, what's the best way into the cargo hold?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think um so the way they used to do it is uh they would claw that they would you know they would hump it down to the bottom of the ship and try to get the cargo bay doors open from the outside,
Yeah,
and have one person working on that while everyone else faced outwards and tried to beat the shit out of anyone who came to stop them.
right.
And you know that the best way actually in is through the airlock and like work the take a hostage uh and uh get them to open the doors from the inside.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's the best way is through the main airlock. That is an easier hack than the cargo doors. And
right. It's also a smaller portal. It's easier to just crack it open. We just need to get enough space that we can file in,
right,
which is
right.
a lot. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's maybe the difference right off the bat. 1 second.
Yep.
Oh, pardon
Bless
me.
you.
Sorry, I was trying to mute, but I
No, it is all right. It is all right.
could not click before it came upon me.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think I think we're going to have I think we have an umbilical that we latch on, and instead of the umbilical going to the cargo, the umbilical is going to that airlock, and we're gonna immediately get the grinders and the saws out to saw the airlock, break the seal, pull it
Yeah.
apart, get inside. There's no attempts to hack the system. It's override the manual controls and
Yeah.
break in.
Yeah. And I think like as you're hacking away at the doors, you can see the security, the pair of knights who are who pulled barge duty, uh who are clearly like people on Nestor's side, right?
Yeah,
uh because all of your family's security people have been pulled off. uh they're like they're getting their gear on to fight you
yeah,
and come out and meet you in 0G, but you're trying to like get in through the door. And yeah, let's shall we see what happens?
yeah, yeah. Feels like
um
it's an act under fire here. I'm trying to break
it
in
is, it is. And
before.
I think you're using an answer, so I think you get the +1.
Nice. All right. Bum, bum, bum. Where are my? Where's roll 20? What did I do? Oh, Okay, let's pull it up. Boop, boop. I'm gonna roll leadership because
Yeah,
that's what I'm doing. I'm leading all this crew to do it.
yeah,
I mean, I am taking part in it personally, but it's more about how everyone does as a whole than. Oh my lord,
yeah.
man, the dice do not love me tonight. That included the +1. Well, let me ask you a question. Has my leadership gone up? Did I complete the training? I don't know if.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I think it did. Yeah.
Oh, well then I take that back. That is a 7.
Okay.
Thanks for my leadership my leadership
Cool. So I
going up.
think like they don't force the fight out onto the hall, which is what they wanted, right?
Yeah.
I think you meet one of them in the doorway,
Yeah.
and I need to get the moves up because I think we're gonna do burned over the basics and past all of the.
We gonna do some of the battle moves?
I think we're in battle.
Cool.
Um,
I only see in the basic moves on burned over. I don't see any battle move. Oh no, there's the do battle move. Never
do
mind.
battle.
Do
Yep.
battle to
Yep. Yep.
someone.
Yeah, and it kind of has a burning wheel bidding like silent like kind of silent bidding vibe. I've heard mixed things about it from people who love Apocalypse World.
Hmm.
So let's play with it. We'll see if we
Yeah.
like it, and if
See what
not, we'll go
happens.
back. I mean, if not, Apocalypse World, Apocalypse World Second Edition has a perfectly good batch of battle moves. We can use those if we don't like it
Yeah.
after a while. But let's see how it looks.
All right. So when you do battle with somebody, exchange harm, but first roll plus hard, or in this
Right,
case, I think I'm gonna roll plus brawling because that's what I'm
right,
gonna be doing. I do have one more question, and I
yeah.
think it's fair to ask it right now. What represents the best opportunity for me to, honestly, this is who I want more than anyone. These are probably the most valuable person here. So, what represents the best opportunity for me to take one of these knights hostage?
Oh shit.
I mean, this is the best hostage I'm going to get here. Is one of these knights. They're probably higher ranking than anyone on that barge, and they're one of Nestor's, which helps me. It's probably not enough to help me, but it starts moving. It starts evening the odds.
Yeah, the best way to do that is to break one of their face shields so that their emergency foam goes up.
Nice.
And once the emergency foam goes up, they're kind of blind and deaf until they get in. And yeah,
Yeah, and at that point, we could just push them in 0G into our hull, and they're not going to be able to do anything until they get out of their armor.
blind and deaf is probably ableist shitty language, so I
Yeah,
apologize for that. But they are unable to see and they are unable to hear and they are yeah, everything just
they're just surrounded in protective foam.
yeah. They're
Yeah,
surrounded in protective foam. And I
yeah.
apologize for using shitty language. I'm
Thank you.
sorry
No,
about that.
thank you for catching it. I'm glad you did. Yeah. All right. Well, that's what I'm going to try and do. I think I know exactly where their shielding modulator is, and you know, I've got a big old like instead of my void blade sword, I've got a big old power grinder. I just watched Army of the Dead, and that did not get used nearly enough.
Not even
So
close.
it cut a hole in a wall, which is something it's very good at, but it did not do other cool stuff. So I've got a big old grinder that we've been using on the locks, and that's what I'm
Right.
going to just charge in, shove it up against pin one, try to get up and close so he can't use his blade on me effectively,
Yeah.
and grind at that where I know the modulator is because I know that armor well. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna roll brawling +1 because I'm reading off a question, and let's see how this goes. Whew.
Nice.
Thank you, phase shield modulator information for
Cool.
paying
So
off.
um
I
you can
hold
bid for.
forward.
You can bid
Yeah.
for, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how the bidding works, but let's see. Hold
Uh
four on a
yeah,
defense.
so you can fight defensively. -1 harm, and you can also do these like more than once.
Mm-hmm.
So you can fight for
Mm.
blood, inflict +1 harm. You can fight opportunistically, bid 1 to inflict harm on additional non-combatant target you specify, or else contradict a 1 bid to guard them. You can guard someone, or you can seize initiative. Whoever bids more to seize initiative does.
Got it. So I can spend as much as I want on any of these things.
Yeah,
If you
and
seize
you've got 4 to
initiative,
spend,
you've
and
got
you know
all
that
of these
they,
applicable.
yeah,
Okay.
and you know that they only have 2 to spend.
An NBC, three against you on a hit, and two against you on a hit, and three against you on a hit. Okay. All right. So, this is kind of cool. I don't hate this. I don't hate this
Okay,
like bidding
good, good, good.
thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I know what they're doing. So I know what they are bidding. Uh, so you can announce your bids as you want to.
Yeah. Um, I'm trying to think of the thing that will help me the most in capturing them, and I feel like that is, to me, I think that is seizing initiative.
Yeah,
I don't think there's another option on that list that really spend 1 to inflict harm on an additional enemy. Yeah. Okay. Um, all right. I'm going to spend 2 to seize initiative,
yeah,
1 to guard someone. I want to protect I want to be watching the back of the pirate that's coming with me,
yeah.
and 1 to fight defensively. I really
Cool.
don't need to hurt him as much as I need to just overwhelm him, and
Yeah,
yeah. Okay, so that's what I'm
cool.
doing.
So they put 1 into seize initiative, which they lost because you did 2, and
Excited too.
then they did, instead of guard someone. I just thought they're guarding the door,
Yeah, yeah,
but
that makes sense.
but yeah, but you have initiative now, so
Right.
you can
So we're trading harm though. That's the other thing.
yeah, you are
Um,
trade but you fought defensively.
yes, I did, and I also
Okay.
guarded my companion. So what's our respective harm that we do,
Um so I think,
and also our respective armor, I guess, because we definitely
yeah,
have armor.
so I think what happens is that you go in with that huge uh lock cutter,
Yeah.
and you put it right against their faceplate, and you kind of jam them into a corner, and a sword lashes out and nicks your arm, but the person who's your kind of wingman, slaps a bit of putty on it before too much air can be released, just like
Right.
they're supposed to,
Yeah.
because you've trained them.
Yeah.
And I think the weapon that you're using is awkward, but it is armor piercing, and the sword is not so much.
Yeah.
So like I think like your armor takes a shot, but you're okay. And then you do what you wanted to do, which is jam this thing into his faceplate and cause the helmet to foam, cause the
Nice.
safety foam to go up.
Nice.
And so there's still 1 in the door,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. But I have the initiative, so I get to do any of these as applicable. You get to do any or
yeah,
all of these as applicable. Take +1 hold against your enemy on the next round. I want to do that because
yeah,
I have another enemy. Take a quick action of any kind. I think I want to grab. I think as the foam fills, I want to just like toss him behind me. I'm assuming that
yeah,
someone else is going to catch him on the other end. Like,
yep.
um, and then
Love it.
read a situation question for free with no roll. Um, I like this. This is. I mean, I like. I did. This came off well, but
Yeah.
yeah. What's my best way through the? I only need 1 hostage. What's my best way through the other night?
The best way through the other night would be to um to ask them to stand down, right? To let them know that we've got your person, and it's 1 on 6,
Yeah.
and it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I mean that's the best way through. And
Yeah.
unless they're a zealot, they're going to take it.
That sounds great. Well,
Cool. So let's see
yeah.
if they're a zealot. I'm going to roll 1d6. On a 6, they're a zealot, and on
Okay.
anything else, they're nope.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think they get into like a defensive position because that's their reflex, and their sword is pointed at your face, and then they just kind of let go of it, and the sword floats over to your crew, and someone kind of grabs it by the blade and shoves it on a magnet
Yeah.
that they have on their on their shoulder, and then I think they just kind of bustle that one out of the way,
Yeah.
and kind of like zip tie them to some handles, and then you're in the ship.
Yeah.
You Darth Vader the shit out of that door, and you're in, and the rest is just getting them to open the cargo and get the and it all happens pretty fast after that. Like after
Yeah.
that, it's exactly as after that you're kind of within the pirates uh um
Realm of expertise.
realm of expertise, and you can almost sit back.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've got a knight for ransom, and you've got this cargo ship, and they I think you're a heist, like you pull the data for the cargo, and who's on it, and you notice a name like goes by real fast,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, Sister Theano is on this ship. She's the engineering nun who is helping you with the orbit, and she's like, you know, through the hallway. You weren't gonna fuck with there was no plan to mess around with passengers,
Right.
but like she's like through the hall and in a door that's open. That in a ship you've already broken into.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I have like a communication that explains some of this, some of what the fuck I'm doing right now to my
Right.
brother, right? And
Yeah.
I think I've not found a way to send it to him yet without it being um I think it says I'm alive and I'm going to help and I'm going to do whatever I need to do to help you. And that's about
Right.
it. It's
Right.
very
Right.
vague. I don't want him having anything that really traces back, or I want to give him hope, but I don't want to
Yeah.
reveal what the plan is because it could get intercepted, all sorts of things, right? Like
Yeah.
I've got to give him deniability, but also I'm not really ready to tell my brother that I'm attacking
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just, it's,
Plausible deniability was definitely the word that was like ringing in my ear. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
Love it.
And, um, and so I've got this disc, I've got this like, crystal of this data crystal, and I've been carrying it forever because I've been trying to figure out a way to send the comm, and there's no way to do it without it being traced back to where we weren't exposing ourselves. So I'm going to walk up to, I think when I like see like everything's under control, things are all right, I'm going to walk up to her, and if I remember, it's been a little bit. Sister Theana was the one who said that what we really needed was the capital ship Troy to
Yeah.
tow us out to help us. And when I said,
Yeah.
I almost destroyed that ship, I said siege. I said many times. She said, "I'm so glad you didn't. That thing is a work of
Right.
art." This,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and um, and so I'm going to walk back. I've still got the visor on. It's
Yeah.
all like it.
It's black. Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
yeah. You can't.
silver.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. You can't. She can't tell it's me. But I walk up and I'm not like holding the weapon, but I think I'm just still just like menacing by. I'm a pirate attacking the ship, right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah,
menacing
yeah, yeah.
thing.
I think the passenger door, like no one thinks you're coming into the passenger door, right? Like it's just, a matter of fact, there might even be a crew member who's saying they're not going to come in here. They just want the cargo. It's, we're perfectly, and then, there's the hiss of the door opening,
Yeah.
and there you are in full void gear. Uh, as I unplug my computer, and
Well, I'm still
because
hearing you, so your mic is
yeah,
good.
yeah, we're good. I think it has enough power, but it's just, uh, you know, yeah, the fact that you can like take a ship in cold vacuum and I cannot navigate my computer is just kind of funny to me. Uh, yeah, I think, and uh, you know, she's sitting there, um, like kind of clutching something to her,
Yeah.
as if for security.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think I crouched down, so I'm like, it's bulky and awkward. But I honestly think
yeah,
after all this training, like Alexi's gotten a little bit more comfortable doing day to day things in armor.
right,
Um,
right.
I think
Love it.
I can kind of sit in like a cat stance for a moment. Not I can't hold it for a long time, but I think I can kind of sit in the cat stance, like crouch down next to her, and I say, "Are you praying for the salvation of everyone on, for the safety of everyone on board?"
Nice. Do you think she did?
I remember asking her about what she prayed for
Yeah, yeah,
way
yeah,
back when, and I think what she was praying for is, that we see the wisdom of the math. She's a techno priest, right? I don't remember
yeah.
exactly what she said, but she definitely was talking about, yeah. I mean, prayer is a normal expected thing. It's from what I remember. Yeah.
She says, "I'm praying for everyone's safety."
Uh, you don't have to worry. We don't we won't hurt anyone here. You'll be picked up, and I like look at the little like countdown clock. I'm like, you'll be picked up in about 15 minutes. The patrol boat will come for you. Um, uh, you can turn your attention. You can safely turn your attention back to more ecclesiastical matters, more important things like the great, like the great wonders themselves. And this is what I'm like trying to make the connection with her to make her,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
remember the because remembering like her just how like God, what's the word for it when you're just enamored by something, the piety that she sort of showed
yeah.
towards these things. And it's like you can turn your attention back to the great
Cool.
matters of math and
Yeah,
cosmos.
I want you to make a roll to see if you can, like, communicate to her that it's you, right? I mean, she's
Yeah,
under a high stress. Her
absolutely.
her adrenaline is going 1,000 miles an hour, and she's just not used to this kind of uh, battle, battle sense, in real time. So yeah,
Yeah. What do you think I am charming her, or do you think I'm acting under fire, or
I
something
think you're
else?
acting under fire. Yeah,
Yeah. I think the fire is that I'm not gonna have enough time, right? Like we're gonna
yeah,
have to like, get going before I can have a meaningful communication. Or maybe I'll freak her out. I don't know. But like the situation is the fire. The situation being volatile.
right.
Cool. Cool, 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 cool. I'm gonna roll liaison. I think that's the
Cool.
best
Yeah,
thing to roll. And I don't
I'll take
feel
it.
like I've done anything to read this, so I don't feel like there's a call
No,
for.
you are off book.
I'm definitely off book. Let's-
Yep,
come on, Sister Theana,
love it.
remember me. Oh, okay. At least I'm scraping by. It's something.
Cool. Yeah, and I think like she's carrying this thing almost like it's a child, and it's covered in some kind of cloth, and she lets it slip, and you see it's the hilt of a sword, and
It's not just the hilt of a sword. I have a feeling. I think
it
it's
is
a hilt
not
of
just the hilt
the
of a
sword.
sword. It is the hilt of the true sword, that belongs in Ithaca Station, that she was clearly smuggling out on behalf of your brother.
Wow. Is it possible for me to like raise my visor in a way that only she could see my face and the people surrounding her couldn't? Or is it like
Um,
full helmet kind of thing?
I think it would be taking a chance.
Yeah.
I think it would be taking a
Oh,
chance.
so that's why she's so panicked.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. I yeah, I think I'm gonna hand her the crystal and I say I'm glad that you're. I think I'm just gonna say it in like a low voice, and maybe people pick it up, and hopefully, I say, uh, "Thank you for your services to my brother," and I hand her the datacom little thing.
yeah,
Will she take it? Does she connect
yeah.
to it too?
She does, and I think she hands you the sword. Um, yeah,
Dang. Um,
and I think like Klaus comes over the comms and says, "I don't know what you're doing, but we're fully loaded. We're getting out of here."
Yeah, I put my hand on her shoulder in that same kind of like I stand up and she's still sitting down. I put my hand on her shoulder in that same way that we saw, the camaraderie of, and I just like I think I know how to like control the servos enough to just give like a gentle squeeze rather than a
Yeah,
shoulder
yeah,
crushing squeeze. And I nod to her, and then yeah, I think she knows it's me. I hope she knows it's me.
yeah,
I think she, because she gave me the hilt. Um, and yeah, and I think next shot is me, making the booster off of the ship back to ours.
cool. And
Nice.
that's awesome. I feel like that's a good place to end for the night. I feel
Hmm.
like we've established a new direction, and
Yeah,
yeah,
Alexi's a pirate now.
love it.
I think Morgan would still be proud. I think he'd still be happy. Still be uh, excited about what we're doing
Oh,
with this
totally.
character.
Yes, he totally would be. Space piracy. He yes, yes, and I would want to like. I feel like he would get that. There's that whole montage in Lynch's Dune where Muad'Dib is just like laying waste uh to the spice trade, and I feel like that's the kind of thing we just established here is like that is kind of what this that's what grows out of this
Yeah,
is like a string of daring pirate raids that destroy their numbers and really make it look like you know whether it's true or not, your family belonged in the marquee seat.
yeah.
And yeah, and that's the vibe I was going for. And yeah, Morgan would get that. He would see exactly what I was going for.
I think you would.
So
I think you would.
totally.
Well, this is a blast as always, and also not what I expected as always.
I had no idea what we were going to do this game. I never do. And like we've got like half a carburetor from Apocalypse World, and like that's it. And so I never know if this car is going to run or not. Like it's just like, well, we've got the carburetor. Like Apocalypse World has a good carburetor. We've got
Yeah,
that in there. We should have enough horsepower to make the game go.
we should be able to
Um,
spurt forward. Yeah,
Between
I
that and
mean,
me and Sean, I think we'll be able to do it. But
I think
yeah.
so far we've had done a pretty good job of like figuring out a way to push it forward. I
Oh yeah,
challenged
yeah,
you
yeah.
a lot tonight with a lot of six minus rolls where you had to figure out like
No.
what's an interesting thing that could happen here besides just your complete and utter destruction, which I think was on the line. I felt like that was a possibility, but this
And
instead,
yes, totally it was. But I also think like we could have thrown you into the eye of the Leviathan and see what happened there. And we could have killed you and had you made up your brother and seen like what that looked like.
sure,
So I mean there were other options.
yeah.
And
I mean, someday
yeah.
I'm gonna go open my brain to that Leviathan. Someday we're
Oh,
gonna
nice.
we're gonna fall into its orbit and see what happens.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. We haven't we've done a couple of Dooney tropes, but we haven't taken drugs yet. So like we clearly like that's the next like we need to. It's far too few drugs. We're like we're like space teetotalers. What the hell's going on
Yeah,
here?
right. Well,
Just
the drugs of Dune were very, thank you capitalism. The drugs of Dune were extremely functional, right? Like people weren't
right,
doing drugs recreationally; they were doing
right,
drugs to do FTL. They were doing drugs to, to enhance their capabilities, which uh,
absolutely.
doesn't belie their deleterious effects. But it wasn't like that's I feel like the genre we're in, where drugs would be to deal with the high G's or to
Right.
that sort of thing. So yeah,
But I also think like we are tweaking it all enough that we can like add some like because I've written some drug moves that I think are pretty decent and um yeah, I think we can add some like 70s sci-fi weirdness in there.
yeah,
Uh
I could
so yeah,
definitely
yeah,
go
we
for
can
some
yeah,
psychedelic Leviathan drug
a little
tripping
bit. A
experiences.
little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah. Uh we'll see.
All right.
I'm curious to see. Yeah, but as always, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm always excited to see your decisions and um, yeah, it's definitely one of those deals where I was doing something before the game today, and I was like, I don't know why I'm not more nervous than I am, but I feel like I should be. I feel like I should be far more nervous before this
Well,
game.
we definitely have been playing this game without a net.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
don't have
yeah,
an entire system. There's not really there's not like a core conceit about the action of the game. Like we've gone from leading a station to piracy in a few
yeah,
sessions,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we don't know where the game's going. We don't know what mechanics we're using to get there. So yeah, I'm happy that you didn't feel nervous, but I could absolutely understood if you did.
No,
And
no, no, I'm not. I don't. Yeah, I don't enjoy being nervous, and I don't. I have yeah, it's good. I have not been. I. It's definitely like a more of a feeling of hey Judd, why aren't you more nervous? More than like I'm actually nervous. Like it's like
nice.
some part of me, is sitting like some Jiminy Cricket is on my shoulder and being like, I don't think you should be this calm about this game. This could really be bad.
Well, the
So
fun thing
anyway.
is, Judd, you keep giving me like really difficult, impossible, hard to decide offers, but the answers, no matter what they are very
Yeah,
exciting. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah,
I think I'm going to fight off the mutiny. I'll never become a pirate, right? Like these would have been easier answers to make, but they also, I feel like you were sort of hinting, and I felt confidence that if we just follow the play and we just follow what's happening,
yeah,
cool shit's gonna come out of it. So it doesn't. We don't need to, like Alexei isn't quite the honorable knight that I was maybe thinking he was,
yeah,
and I'm finding that out by the decisions he's making, not by what I say about him.
yeah.
I think he's more pragmatic than I would have thought, and that's I don't know. It's cool. It's great to be able to make these decisions and uh, figure out what that means about you. So
Yep, yep. No, I'm digging it. I really like where it goes. I thumbs up, thumbs up
awesome.
all around.
All right. Well, friends, as always, thank you so much for watching with us. All the proceeds from this channel go to Black Lives Matter and the Translegal Defense and Education Fund. So if you click the like or subscribe, not the like, the cheer or subscribe buttons, that's where that goes. And Judd just posted his links. You can find all his stuff. Well, he'll tell you all his stuff. But
Yeah,
I'm Sean. You can find me. I use he, him pronouns. You can find me over at Sean Nittner. And I'm excited to have so many shows on the channel. Tomorrow we've got Dictionary of Moo, which
yeah,
do you want to talk about you? How about that, Judd?
yeah. I'm excited. The last game they raided this rogue witch lord's fortress, and they took the fortress, but the witch lord got away, which is never good. And so
Dangerous.
Uh, yeah, they're a bunch of the cons of the local tribes are going to be gathering, and Jay's character is going to be trying to like consolidate power, but there's someone out there in the red waste, conspiring and scheming to come and get him. And yeah, I'm excited to see. Yeah, and as with all of our gaming, I have no idea where it's going to go in the best of ways. I'm a
Yeah.
little bit more confident in the sorcerer system than I am in our uh,
What it is we're doing.
yeah, like this apocalypse world with a coat of traveler paint on it. I don't. But yeah, but anyway, it's working. It's all working, and I'm excited to see where it goes, and
Right.
uh, I'm excited to play to find out, and keeping the story feral, as Avery Alder said, and all that good stuff. So
Awesome.
fun
Awesome.
times.
Well, good night, all. We'll see you soon.
Good night.